am pretty much reading As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. If not, do understand and get your day is going to get better once that perception gets better. Okay? All right. So, as I'm reading this, okay, As a Man Thinketh, the first thing that came to my mind once I got to probably like the third page, I was like, where have this book been all my life? Okay. I talk a lot about ignorance, right? And why we tend to do certain things the way we do them because what we have been conditioned to believe, right? So you may have grew up in a household where as though all the time, it was if you did this, you wasn't gonna have no good luck. You was gonna have bad luck. If you wore certain types of clothes, you was going to the devil. All these different things. I mean, I never had that experience as far as like what you wear, you going to the devil or whatever. But it's certain ways that we have grew up. Even earlier today, I had made an analysis that when I was growing up, I remember like if my right eye or my left eye, if it jumped, right, like Twitch, people in my family often would say that if it was the left eye that jumped or twitched, whatever, that was bad luck. If it was the right eye, that was pretty much good luck. And for a long time, I believed in luck. A long time until I started seeing that there's not a such thing as luck, okay? You get what you get based upon what you put out, okay? And as I'm reading, As a Man Thinketh, it says, a man does not come to the almshouse or the jail by the fate or circumstance, but by the pathway of thoughts and base desires. Nor does pure-minded man fall suddenly into crime by stress of any mere external force. The criminal thought had long been secretly fostered in the heart, and the hour of opportunity revealed its gathered power. Circumstances does not make the man; it reveals him to himself. Then it goes on and it says, man do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. Okay? And as I was reading it, it then goes on to say the divinity that shapes our ends is in ourselves. It is our very self. Man is manacled only by himself. Manacled pretty much means that confined, okay? Only by himself. Thought and actions are the jailers of fate. They imprison being base. They are also the angels of freedom. They liberate being noble. Not what he wishes and prays for does a man get, but what he justly earns. His wishes and prayers are only gratified and answered when they harmonize with his thoughts and actions. As that's why it's so important. Like for me, it's really important to re-inform myself, right? Like to educate myself, because you could be living such a life where as though you could see that it's not working. Hey, Jaleel, peace to you, baby, peace to you, peace to you. You can see that the life that you're living is just not working, right? And it can be a part of you that's just like, oh my goodness, like why is these things showing up in my life? And the people who program these things into your mind, thinking, you could be like, well, my mother told me, this is the way things were, and but oftentimes your mother got that from her mother, who got that from her mother. Okay, it does not necessarily mean that is correct. Okay, and it's not something, our families, they wanted the best for us. Okay, and they only was able to give us what they had. Okay? It's a great book, Mastery of Love. And it talks about people can only give you what they have. So if you like, well, why didn't they teach me? Well, how the hell could they have taught you something that they didn't even know? Like, imagine it. So you guys know I have 4 children, right? If you don't know now, you know now. Okay. I have 4 children. And with my 2 oldest children, my oldest son is 20, and then my oldest daughter, hey Pharrell, peace here, baby, peace here, peace here. My oldest son is 20, and then my oldest daughter, she's 18. And the way I pretty much raised them is based upon the belief systems that I believed in. So what they included, you're not gonna have no good luck. Just pretty much letting them know that if they went against what I said, pretty much they wouldn't have no good luck, right? And I knew how that felt with me. But this is the thing. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Pharrell. But this is the thing. If you are only able to teach your children based upon what you know. And if you don't know too much, you can't teach your children hardly anything, because you can only teach them what it is that you have learned. I remember Dr. Miles Monroe said that. He said, if you don't know anything, so you're going to teach your children nothing because you don't know anything. And just to think, I was following this belief system for so long and just thinking that that was the way it was. But I always knew something was off, like far as luck and, you got to be a people pleaser. You got to pretty much do everything what other people want you to do. Because if you didn't, like they wouldn't like you or whatever it was like that. And I would have this outside persona, right? Like, I don't give a damn if you like me or not, right? But in the inside, I really, like, I cared, okay? And so my whole thing to you is, listen, first of all, I've been raving about this book for the longest, okay? The Prosperity Bible, okay? And right now I am reading As a Man Thinketh. And I was reading and I was like, oh my goodness, let me do a video on this. Your life is not going to change because you pray. I don't know who the hell need to hear this, but it's not going to change because you pray. The book exactly, it states it. Your life is going to change when you are in harmony. When you are in harmony with whatever it is that you say you desire. So say for instance, Briscott, honey, I don't know how to, all right, so if I don't know how to pronounce your name, honey, I just got to spell it, okay? Igor, okay, I think that's how you say it. Peace here. So, say for instance, you say, you sick of, hey Tracy, peace here, baby, peace here. Tracy, I'm reading As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It is so good. And in here, he talks about James Allen. Make sure you guys are giving a thumbs up, okay? Getting this free game, okay? So in here, it talks about, honey, you put the thumbs up if you want to. If you don't, you ain't got to. But listen, in here, it says, you being bullied. Who you being bullied? Igor, 1 second, okay? So, one of the things is, it says in here, okay, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. One of the things it says is that you have to be in harmony with the things that you desire, right? You are not going to get something different. No matter if you cried, you begged, you prayed, whatever it was. And I was, as I was reading this, I also was thinking about this one particular time. I was going through it, okay? And I remember I would cry and cry and cry. My nerves would be a certain type of way. And pretty much I was just allowing people to do whatever they wanted to me. Okay. And I'm no victim. Okay. But I would allow it because I felt like if I would say something, then I wouldn't have any good luck. Sometimes it would be family members, right? And I remember, like, I would just cry and cry, and I would, get all worked up. I would pray, and I would, pretty much at that time I was praying to God in the sky. I would pray, and I would pretty much say, like, why is this going on? And, could this stop? And all this other stuff. But what I realized, and this was pretty much what people would say, and I just felt like I had no power. Okay. I felt like I didn't have no type of control over my life. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter how much I cried, how much, I prayed or whatever, because one of the things that you have to understand is this. Everything that we come in contact in life, every time somebody come into our lives and they show us something, people just reflect back to you exactly how you showing up. Okay. And so sometimes you can be like passive. You don't say too much, you pretty much timid. You very quiet. People could say any and everything to you. They could just pretty much walk over you. You'll speak up sometimes, not, all the time, because you're scared. Okay. And then, it goes back to me, and I'm like, but why was I so, why was I like that, And my whole thing was because of fear. People, they paint these scenarios and they say, oh, you're not going to have no good luck. But what the hell is good luck? What is good luck? Is somebody else's goddamn perception, right? And once I started understanding this, right? Like once I had my spiritual awakening and I started understanding, and I never forgot, one day I was listening to Miss Iyanla Van Zandt, and one of the things she was saying, she said, you have to have boundaries. And I never even heard, people talk about having boundaries or anything like that. And I just thought it was normal, okay? Because we do what we have been programmed to do and what we have seen. And I just thought it was normal for you not to have boundaries, for, I didn't even know nothing about boundaries, but pretty much to let people run amok over your life because they family members or whatever, they friends. And it's almost like you just give them the green light. So I am here to tell you, okay, your life will not get better unless you do something different. Okay. And I remember when I created the boundaries in my life. And the first person I told the boundary to was my mama. Honey, I was scared. I was scared as hell. Okay. All right. I listened to Miss Iyanla Van Zandt. And I remember I told my mother, because my mother, and I love my mother to the life of me. Okay. But I remember I had told my mother, I was like, Ma, because sometimes she would want me to, drive her places and stuff like that. And sometimes I may have not wanted to do it that particular day, right? And then she would sometimes get an attitude. And so when I felt like she would get an attitude, I would just hurry up and do it. I would just do it, right? And I remember one day I was telling my mother, I said, I have boundaries with you. And I felt so goddamn nervous. But at the same time, it was like, that's what needed to be said. Okay? If you are people pleasing, I'm going to share a story with you guys. Someone who is very close to me, she had called me one day. And she was going through the same exact thing I used to go through. And she pretty much was saying that, like she be feeling bad for her mother and, all these different things. But it's like she do the stuff that her mother want her to do, but she really don't be wanting to do it all the time. And I said to her, I said, well, your mother is a grown lady. Okay? Your mother have her own life. And I think, it's, of course, there's nothing wrong with, helping out with parents and stuff like that out, and being there for them at times. But when it's like you get put on a guilt trip because you can't be there for their every beck and call, then things need the relationship, it needs to be re-examined, and you guys gonna have to talk about it. Because if not, you just gonna keep on doing things and feeling very upset, and then have animosity towards your parent because you didn't speak up. And I remember one day my mother said to me, and she was true. She was right what she said. She said, well, Dean, because I was like, well, if I don't take you, you get upset and stuff like that, And she said, well, Dina, this is your call. Like this is your call. I can't make you do, take me anywhere. This is your call. And what that taught me is this. People, they are going to do whatever you permit, whatever you may allow. That's all. If you don't like it, you have to speak up about it. And I know sometimes it may be, honey, you may be a little afraid. Okay. All right. But one of the things that you have to understand and get is when you trust your heart, okay, and you follow your heart. I don't know where these people get this from. They follow they mind. They mind told them. I know they say I followed my heart. My heart told me to do this stuff, and I should never follow my heart. Honey, that's your mind you listening to. That ain't your goddamn heart, okay? The heart is never going to lead you astray. And so you have to listen to your heart and follow your heart. If you don't want to do it, you have to let the person know that you don't want to do it. Because if not, your life is, you might as well say your life is an honor to them. Okay? Because if you're doing everything that somebody else wants you to do, you won't even have a goddamn life for your own. And no matter how much you cry and pray and bitch and moan about whatever it is that's going on in your life, if you do not change, your life, I can guarantee you, is going to stay the same. I had a homegirl. Who used to come to my house, right? And me and her are very close. And I remember I used to feel some type of way, like when she would come to my house, right? And I didn't care she came to my house, but she always wanted to eat, right? And I remember I wanted to tell her that, like, girl, every time you come over, you always want to eat, right? But I didn't know how to tell it to her. And I felt one of the things, and this is from me doing work on myself, okay? But one of the things that I had start understanding is me and this person cannot be genuine friends if I cannot express to her how I really feel about her coming to my house always wanting to eat. Okay? I can't, I can't be friends if I can't express that to her. And so I remember one day I had sent her a message, okay, honey, because I was like, you know what, it's best to send her a message so she could read it, okay? And I sent her the message and she read it and she said, and one of the things, and you have some people that'll say, that ain't true, right? Okay, that they are in denial. They say that it ain't true, and pretty much what you saying is just BS, okay? But my homegirl, she said, girl, I thought you knew I like to eat. I said, what? She said, yeah. But there was a miscommunication on my part. Because it would be times where as though she, like when she first started coming over, she would ask like, oh, do you need something? And I would always say no. And so she took it upon herself like, well, if I ask her, if she needs something, she always gonna say no anyway, right? But what that taught me later on was to tell her that I need some stuff, okay? When she coming over, ask her when she say, oh, you want something? Because after that, our friendship, it grew stronger, because now it's like I'm saying exactly how I felt. Well, I expressed her exactly how I felt. And that friend, okay, I have learned so much from her. So much from her. And a few things that I have learned from her was pretty much be impeccable with your words. I told you guys about the book, The Four Agreements, right? And in that book, it talks about being impeccable with your words and say exactly what you mean, right? I learned so much from this friend. So if you have a friend, okay, that you are afraid to express yourself to, or your parents that you are afraid to express yourself to, still express yourself to them, even if you have to write a letter. Like I noticed even with my oldest daughter, who is 18, and when she was about, I want to say like 16, like I didn't want my children, and I know in some cases I probably was, like the people who raised me, and they wanted the best for me, okay? But like controlling. You get what I'm saying? And I remember it was one point in time that I didn't want to yell at my oldest daughter, right? I didn't want to yell at her and make her feel some type of way. So what we would do, like I say, if you need to say something to me and you feel as though like you don't know how to say it, like write me a letter. And we would write each other letters. I would write her a letter, okay? And we would exchange letters with one another. And then if we needed to still talk about the situation or whatever it is like that, we would still exchange the letters until later on we would talk about it. But in order for your life to change, you really have to change and you have to speak up. Because it's not going to get better. And if the person that you are speaking up to, if they have like a whole attitude, if you barely could say anything to them, they just like, no, what you say, that's not true. That's not the way it is. Then for me, I would distance myself from them. I would distance myself from them. Because the way I feel, and if I'm expressing this to the person and they just, blow up, like get a whole attitude, yelling and cursing and screaming, that's a no-no. Okay, I would not be around nothing like that. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, is that relationship that you are entertaining, is it respectable? Is it respectable? Do you guys have boundaries? Because if not, then you gonna be running amok over this person's life, and that person gonna be running amok over your life. And let me tell you something about boundaries. People who do not have boundaries, they don't respect other people's boundaries. Let me say that again. I think I'm gonna do a video on this, on boundaries. People who do not have boundaries, they do not respect others' boundaries. How would they respect someone else's boundary? Okay? Hey, Gilly Forever, peace here, baby, peace here, peace here. How would they respect someone else's boundaries if they don't even have boundaries of their own? And if they don't have boundaries of their own, most likely people are running amok over their lives. So you have to look at your life, and whatever is showing up, do understand that you are reaping what you have sown. If you allow people to talk to you any old type of way, whether it's your mama, your father, your grandmama, your aunties, your uncles, your best friend, your brother, your sister, it does not matter. Nobody should have a pass to talk to you crazy. and then you still be around them. And so you got to ask yourself, and oftentimes that comes with the self-image. If your self-image of yourself is, you deserve it, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Some people will say, well, I was born into that family. I had told my mother, and at the time, I didn't know where the hell this came from. It was just something my intuition told me to say. I said to my mother one day, I was driving, and I was coming down the ramp close to my house. And I said, Ma, I was born into this family, but I don't belong to this family. Just meaning that, I was born in here, but pretty much, like, y'all can't control me. Pretty much, that's pretty much. And people can't do nothing without your permission. And a phenomenal thing about life is this, that you can change at any given time. The results that you receive, you can change at any given time. The harvest that you reap, okay, you can change those seeds at any given time. Now, you already reaped that harvest, from whatever it is, but now you can plant new seeds. But you have to understand that people are only showing you exactly what you are allowing and how you are showing up and what you are tolerating. And so once you start doing the work on yourself and start understanding that, wait, hold up, I ain't got to tolerate this. Sometimes people tolerate the unacceptable because they're afraid to be by themselves. And so they won't speak up. Or sometimes, people may feel, well, if I speak up, my family may like gang up on me. And in situations like that, you have to put boundaries in place. You really have to put boundaries in place. And it may be foreign to you, because I told you guys it was foreign to me. I didn't know nothing about no goddamn boundaries, Like I didn't know nothing about boundaries. I just would let people, do and say whatever it was. Now it depends on the person, okay? But yeah, I wouldn't, because I would be living from fear. But the more you educate yourself, the more you start understanding that there's not a such thing as goddamn luck. I don't care who may have programmed that into your subconscious mind. There is not a such thing as luck. You are going to get exactly what you put out. So if you speak up for yourself, okay, that's self-love. You mean to tell me? And sometimes people will try to manipulate you so you could do any and everything for them. But they can't manipulate you if you don't allow them to. And that's where you educating yourself come in play at. Because when I'm reading these books, okay, especially As a Man Thinketh, okay, when I'm reading the books and I'm listening to personal development, like Bob Proctor, things of that nature, and I'm listening to it, and because what I see in my life, I said, damn, this don't work. Okay, this do not. They told me if I did X, Y, and Z, I ain't gonna have no good luck. But shit, it looked like it looked like I ain't got none now. They was saying, oh, if I went against the grain pretty much, or if I said this, or if I said that, they'd say, oh, she's something, or, she ain't gonna have no good luck and stuff like that. But by doing everything that someone wanted me to do, honey, I lost automatically. Why? Because I went against myself. So when you go against yourself, you are going to lose automatically, because if you doing something that you clearly do not want to do, then you're going to have animosity towards the person because you really didn't want to do it. You know what? Tomorrow I'm going to do a video on codependency. But yeah, as long as you feel like that you have to do whatever it is to get along with the person, to get along with your family, to get along with your so-called friends or whatever it is like that. And you know, if you don't want to do it, then the person get upset, they get angry, they start cursing, have a whole damn attitude. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. But as long as you be around that, that's what you shall manifest. But in order for you to be that way, you have to have this self-image of yourself that you're not good enough. Because if you think you're not good enough, you're going to be a people pleaser. Because you want to please everybody. And you can't, there's no way you could love yourself and please everybody. If you going against yourself, that's why you may feel the way you feel. Because you're going against yourself. And the people just reflecting back to you, oh, you go against yourself anyway. Yeah, so let me run amok over your life. Because you already don't care about your damn life. I could do whatever it is I want to you. And you need to start asking yourself, how do this make me feel? Like them people saying you're not going to have good luck or whatever it is that from them saying it, okay, it's just words, right? Them saying you're not going to have good luck. But if you be around it long enough, it goes into your damn subconscious mind. You start believing it, okay? Is by them saying you're not going to have good luck. And how you actually feel by doing whatever it is that they say they want you to do. Okay? Do that make you feel good? Because what I see in my life, it didn't. And so you have to really take a look at your life and understand that it doesn't matter if you pray. It doesn't matter if you beg. It doesn't matter how much you cry. Okay, you may even start going to a psychologist. The reason being is because you holding everything in and you afraid to speak up for yourself. And as long as you are afraid to speak up for yourself and you just don't speak up, your life is going to continuously be the same. Because we don't get from life what we say we want. We get exactly what we are. And so if you want something different, you want something better, you have to do something different. And you have to become better. And once you start changing your self-image, you're not going to allow people to say anything that they want to say to you. Like you will have boundaries that are so strong, whereas though you like, you know what? If you say that to me, you know, I'm just not going to be around you. That's just like somebody call you a B, right? B-I-T-C-H. And the first time you tell them, maybe you like, listen, don't call me that. And then a person, you know, they so used to calling people out their name. And then the next time you speak to them, they call you a B again. What do? Do you laugh it off and say, oh, she just was playing? Or do you say, I told you not to call me a B no more. This friendship could no longer go on. This is the thing about life. Many times people are afraid to speak up. Matter of fact, let me go on the sofa. Ooh, honey, I was doing them workouts today. Woo! Honey, my inner thighs are, woo! Okay? This is the thing about life. sometimes people are afraid to speak up because they feel that they won't have a friend, or they feel that, that relationship, they won't find, anyone like them. But let me tell you the secret. Okay, the secret. The thing about life is this: when you follow your heart, the universe will put somebody else in that person's place. Okay, when you become aware, right? Wow, I've been letting this person disrespect me because the way my self-image was, the way I had looked at myself and thought I wasn't worthy, thought I wasn't good enough, and I let this person, treat me just like S, because you know what? The truth of the matter is I was treating myself like that. Ownership. Okay? You gotta take accountability. You have to take accountability. You know how many people say, well, it's not because of me, it's because of what that person did. Basically, when you're saying it's because of what someone else have done to you, you waiting for that person to change or for them to apologize to you before your life change. Why wait for that? When you are in fact responsible for the person who you have entertained. Before that person lied to you, honey, you was lying to yourself. And it's not until we take accountability and responsibility of our lives will our lives change. And so when you start taking accountability, oh, that's how I was showing up. And you start really saying like, oh, really, like, you really was showing up like that. you really was showing up like that. Okay? And the next time you come across somebody, because what you have to understand, all of us are energy. Okay? We are all energy. And so when someone else come into your life, okay, because you was able to recognize how you was showing up and how you was operating, and you done got that friend or that family member or whomever out of your life, the next people that come into your life, they won't be like the last person. You know why? Because you learned your lesson. Once you get the lesson, you don't repeat it again. And the only way to get the lesson is being aware. Awareness is key. Some people say, oh, well, they experiencing this, they going through that, they going through that. Being aware, that's the most beautiful thing, because with awareness, you can change anything. You can change any and everything with awareness. And so once you start telling people, like, listen, these are my boundaries, and I know at times, right, because I had this friend once upon a time ago, right? And I'm trying to see exactly how, me and her had met because we was doing network marketing. I met her through network marketing. And she didn't live too far from me. And I remember one day, like, it was a little red flags that would go on. She was very generous, very, very kind. But it was certain things that would go on. So she had a boyfriend who was, he was scam people. And one of the things at that time, I was thinking, well, if she's associated with someone like that, what does that say about her? See, sometimes in life, you may say, well, that doesn't say nothing about her. Honey, I am a firm believer of birds of a feather flock together. And so it was a few red flags that went on, right? Like, I remember for my birthday, when I first met her, I didn't say nothing about no boundaries because I was still new to boundaries. I was like, damn, when do you tell people about the boundaries that you have, One second, because there's my children. Oh, you're back. Where did you guys go?
To go to sleep.
Huh?
To go to sleep.
Oh. So what happened was, Duty, you gotta get ready to do this project. Hang your coat up.
What project?
Your project for school tomorrow.
It's President's Day tomorrow.
No, today is President's Day. Tomorrow is school.
What are we gonna do? I don't have no things in my
Your
head.
father brought your stuff.
Well, I don't have no things in my head right now.
You don't have no things in your head.
Yeah, to make a project. What project? I want to make 30 airplanes. Oh yeah, 100.
Don't worry, we gonna go over it. Come on, hang your coat up. You got more candy?
I've been had that.
All right, so I had.
This right now.
All right, so I had the friend, right, and you know, like it was my birthday. This day, okay, and
Today?
no, and like so I was new to boundaries, and I didn't know how to express, or you know, it was like, damn, when do I tell a person about my boundaries, right? And to me, it's best to tell the person about your boundaries, I guess, like when y'all first have this, like this relationship, this establishment, or whatever it is like that, or whatever. Or if a topic come up or whatever, you express it. Okay. And so she had came over, and when she came over, I had like, it was like shrimp, like in a bowl, like a bunch of shrimps that was in a bowl that was cooked. And she had just put her hand in a bowl, like she didn't wash her hand or anything. She just put her hand in a bowl. And I didn't say anything, but I just was looking like, oh my goodness, right? But then later on in the night, I had told her, I was like, girl, go get a plate, right? And so it was like a few things that I seen. But instead of me speaking up because of fear of, oh, she really helps me, or, I could go to her or whatever, it was like that. But it was some things that I really didn't care for. And so in the end, me and her, she wanted my son to do a job for her. And the amount of money that she said she was going to pay my son, it was different than what she had actually paid him. The day she was supposed to pay him, she didn't pay him. And then she was like, oh, well, I pay him, whatever. And I just was like, you know what? Like, this friendship is, is over. But one of the things that I learned about myself is I need to be more direct. Okay? I'm working on being more direct because, like I said, people only do what you permit them to do, what you allow them to do. Okay? And as long as you're not speaking up, okay, they gonna run amok over your life. Okay? So you have to speak up. So, with that being said, I love you guys. Keep rocking out. Keep believing in yourselves. Keep on going. Keep on growing. And keep on glowing. Okay? And do understand that your life is going to change once you change. We do not get different because we cry, beg, plead, pray, okay, bitch or moan. We get better once we become better. And I hope you guys got something from this. Until next time, peace.